Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. In 3 weeks, we will have completed 3 years of Meaningful Mornings. You would have heard welcome to Meaningful Mornings more than 900 times. And so we begin this morning, this week, this recommencement of Meaningful Mornings by appreciating what we have. Relax the body, enjoy breathing, and appreciate what you have. Ajadyam vakpatutvatvam cha. May all of us be vigilant and expressive of our gratitude. Srimad Bhagavatam is a map on how to die. The art of dying is taught in Srimad Bhagavatam. What is this art? To contemplate. Contemplation is a mechanism, a discipline to change who you are. To change who you are at the deepest level. And so in the art of dying, the message is contemplate on your swarupa. That means your nature, which is ever existing, ever aware, ever joyous. If you can't do that, then start with contemplating on the Vishwarupa. You can't feel your nature within you, so feel your nature outside, in the trees, in the people. Remember, the finality is still Swarupa, but the means to that, Vishwarupa. And if you can't do that, then contemplate on your Ishta Rupa, your personal form, name, connection to divinity. As an example, Sri Krishna. This is a lovely teaching that also applies to one's guide. That first one has to have a guide that they can relate to through name, form, connection, one who's alive. And if that guide is genuine, they will guide you to learning from the multiverse and feeling finally that your guide is yourself, your own intellect. Prince Arjuna is seeing Sri Krishna. And what is best about this, his seeing is backed by understanding. 9 chapters of understanding, because in chapter 1, he didn't understand. So through 2 through 10, he did understand, and now he's seeing. And if your understanding is backing your seeing, you keep that experience more. When we were on our yatra, I reminded all of the people with us, most are Ramayana students, Bhagavata students, because you understand Ramayana, Bhagavata, what you're seeing, this means more to you. This is not tourism. This is a sacred experience. But just like the Yatris, Prince Arjuna didn't understand enough. Prince Arjuna doesn't understand enough, and this is very clear in the last verse that we covered, in verse 31, the last quarter, Prince Arjuna shares, Nahi prajanami tava pravrittim. I don't understand your purpose. He understands Shri Krishna, he's seeing Shri Krishna, but not enough. And this is clear because he shares, I don't understand your purpose. Why do you look like this? Why are things happening inside of you? And the implication of this, he doesn't understand that Shri Krishna is the doer. Prince Arjuna still feels, to an extent, that he is the doer. Doership is a disease. How do you know if you have this disease? Stress, anxiety, dejection. Who here has that disease? Check. Who here doesn't have that disease? We all have this disease. We understand, but we don't understand enough. If you have stress, anxiety, dejection, obviously there's a sense of doership. So what to do? In Srimad Bhagavatam, in our class yesterday, I was sharing with everyone ashrama dharma, which means based on the age of you and what you're doing in your life, you have different focuses, different responsibilities. For those who are younger, let's say 0 to 23, one of your dharmas is to be less concerned with your appearance. 0 to 23, to be less concerned with your appearance. It seems like those in that age group do the exact opposite. Fascinating, no? And for those who are middle-aged, let's say 24 to 47, grahastas, one of your dharmas is to be less concerned with mama. Mama means minus or possessions. And again, it seems like we do the opposite. In this age range, we try to have the maximum possessions. And why I'm bringing this up, if you're less concerned with your appearance and possessions, these are techniques to feel that you are the doer less. Don't normalize stress, anxiety, dejection. If you normalize it, why would you want to grow out of this? And to grow out of this requires full participation. And that's why I keep giving so many references, so many practices on how to work up to giving up doership. We continue. After Shri Krishna shows Prince Arjuna who he is, how he looks, now Shri Krishna shares some thoughts. Verse 32. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kalosmi Loka Kshayakrit Pravriddaha Lokan Samahartumiha Pravrittaha Ritepi Tvam Na Bhavishyanti Sarve Ye Vastitah Pratyanikeshu Yodhaha. Shri Krishna says, Don't focus on the grammar. He is saying on February 27th, 2023, he is saying, Kalaha asmi, I am time. Loka kshaya krit pravriddaha, I am this mighty force that destroys this multiverse. Lokan samahartum iha pravrittaha, and this is what I'm engaged in right now. The multiverse, all that is inside, all that is outside, all that is close, all that is far. I've shared with you in different ways that Sri Krishna is responsible for Srishti, which means creation, Sthiti, which means preservation, and then I have used the word many times, Samhara, which means destruction or dissolution. Now he's using that word himself. Sharing some implications of this. I'm reading Pujya Chinmayananda's teachings. Krishna introduces himself here as, I am the mighty world-destroying time who has manifested to wipe out the generation that has suffered decay in its own false sense of values and wrong assumptions about life and its purpose. See, the point here is, when we think of destruction or dissolution, we tend to think of this in a macro way, like a tsunami or the end of creation. But here we are to feel this in a micro way, that how we've lived thus far has lacked meaning. We have been the ones who have been living in a materialistic way, and eventually time will catch up and prove to us externally and internally that this will not lead to peace. For so many of us, time has helped us to become more reflective. Loss in life, loss of health, lack of meaning. That facilitation by time, that is Sri Krishna's grace on us. In chapter 4, he says, I manifest to reestablish balance. There is an external balance, but more so, it is internal balance that manifests externally. In chapter 10, he says, amongst reckoners, Kalayatam, I am time. I hope I'm not losing you. I'm trying to share the implication of all of this. Shri Krishna as time is the one who facilitates destruction for us as we facilitate our own lives, for us to destroy our old ways of thinking and living and bring about more meaningful ways of thinking and living. And now he really levels Prince Arjuna, not with a weapon, but just with a few words. I love it. Rite api, even without you. Who are you? Tvam, and he specifies, looking at him, you. Na bhavishyanti sarve, all of the beings in this war, they will not live. So are you the doer? You're the one who feels that you are the killer and there will be killing. Even without you, all of this will happen. Specifically, ye avastitaha pratyanikeshu yodaha, he's describing the people who are engaged in this hostile war in an arranged way. I'm going to read some of Pujya Gurudev's teachings. Reassuring the very same idea, the universal form here declares that in the great mission of reconstruction, The Lord is not depending upon any individual or individuals. Even without you, none of the warriors manning the secular folly of sheer materialism shall survive the war of the imminent cultural upheaval. Shri Krishna is not acting out of anger. Our experience with destruction is it comes from anger. Shri Krishna is destroying out of compassion. This is a required change, with or without you. And so the pure application for us is our only relationship is with Shri Krishna, and our only responsibility is to serve him. His work will be done by him. Our orientation should be to serve him. In this verse, right at the beginning, when Shri Krishna describes himself as Time the Destroyer, we regularly chant Surya Koti Samaprabha. That Shri Krishna is like, Koti means crore, or 10 million suns that are rising. Oppenheimer described this atomic explosion that he saw as time in the form of destruction. If you can really appreciate 10 million suns rising at once, if you can appreciate the energy of nature, you will not feel that you are the doer. You will only feel that you can serve. And this becomes super clear in the next verse, a favorite verse of so many, where Shri Krishna shares, you have doership, but you're not the doer. How do you make this transition? From inspiration to application, your application was for you to be part of Meaningful Mornings, even when I was not joining you live. How many of you were? By a show of hands. And I expected this of you. You are all disciplined, and I appreciate that. I appreciate this virtue the most. Discipline is like confidence. If you have it, no one can stop you. You will be free in this lifetime. So my appreciation to all of you for being disciplined. And relatedly, if you're indisciplined, everyone will stop you. Your application for this morning. In 3 weeks, we will have completed 469 verses of Bhagavad Gita, 11 chapters, 2/3 of this entire map. And relatedly, 3 weeks ago, the earth shifted beneath Turkey and Syria, and more than 50,000 people were killed. They didn't choose that, but it happened. And so our community is trying to help them. This Friday, March 3rd, Vivek will write a check to help those who have survived in Turkey. Thus far, you have contributed $10,238 to help those who have survived. As you're appreciating what you have, express it. Please continue to give in a grand way to help those in Turkey, because you're already getting help through Bhagavad Gita. Try to make that connection. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.